Hello everyone, today I bring you another Should You Watch, a series where I provide the information I've gathered, take you through the plot of the film, and share my opinions on it, to help you make an informed decision whether or not you should watch it. Yes Man is a 12A rated 2008 rom-com about an unhappy and negative man who goes through a yes seminar that changes his life for the better. This is a film that will hit deep for anyone unsatisfied with their life and seeking change. If that applies to you, should you watch it? Yes, you should. Stick with me and I'll explain why. The main cast is made up of Jim Carrey from Ace Ventura and Bruce Almighty, Zooey Deschanel from New Girl and 500 Days of Summer, Bradley Cooper from Limitless and The Hangover series, and Terrence Stamp from the 70s and 80s Superman films and Smallville. The film starts out with Carl, the main character played by Jim Carrey, trying to avoid speaking to the person repeatedly trying to get in contact with him, lying to whoever's on the phone to while browsing DVDs. He appears to be trying his best not to be included with whatever is going on, claiming to be busy, while at the bar, Carl is seen to be someone who has to be forced into doing things, answering non-committally and aloof to plans of celebration with people who appear to be his friends. It's here we meet his ex-wife Stephanie, who broke up with him 3 years prior, and clearly somebody who he still has lingering feelings for. He immediately wants to leave after spotting her. We learn he works as a junior loan officer and has done so for 5 years after losing out on a promotion. At work we see him browsing ads on his computer and turning them all down, also turning down an invitation from his quirky boss Norm, declining a loan application and refusing yet another call, clearly being painted as somebody who isn't open to new experiences. While on his lunch break he meets a dishevelled former colleague who is claiming tall tales of adventure and tells him what was responsible for the change, giving him a leaflet for a yes seminar. He smashes the window, running away from the security guards, yelling back to Carl, "Live your life, you won't regret it." Next we see a montage of negative behaviours and a life that clearly needs changing, ignoring people, turning down offers, and ringing his ex-wife who is clearly with someone else and has moved on, continuing to just watch TV and DVDs by himself. The crucial turning point comes after Carl misses his friend's engagement party. After being confronted by his best friend, he is very frustrated that Carl keeps making excuses and putting things off, warning him that if he doesn't change his life he's going to end up a lonely guy. That same night, he is visited by a nightmare where he dies and his friends seem unaffected by it, claiming he wasn't a good friend and never did anything anyway. Never saw him much, wasn't a good guy or good anything. This is where we see Carl pick up the leaflet for the Yes Man seminar and select to change his life, to hopefully avoid the events of the dream and his worries about how his friends are seeing him. Next we see him taking action on this and attending the event, bumping into Nick, who gave him the leaflet in the first place in the parking lot, and being introduced to Terrence, who is the creator of the program, giving an accurate reading of his character, making a charismatic speech about how Carl must change. He is presented with a covenant, where any time an opportunity presents itself, he must accept it. The first opportunity that presents itself is a cunning homeless man who seems to be preying on the people coming out of the Yes seminar to ask for favours they usually wouldn't say yes to, asking for a ride to the park, and upon reaching the park, the homeless man runs down Carl's phone battery and asks for his money. It's here he realises his car is out of fuel. He then wanders all the way down to the nearest petrol station, and it's here we meet the movie's secondary main character / love interest, Allison, who takes a photo of him while he's filling the jerry can and talking to himself. He tells her what has happened and she offers a ride on the back of her scooter. He accepts and they ride back to his car. Allison is a free spirit, believing the world is a playground. I enjoyed the chemistry between the two of them. They seem to bounce off each other well. Once he's filled his tank, he makes a joke about sticking around and making out, and to his surprise, she walks up and kisses him. It's from this point we see Carl start to believe in the power of yes, and being open to new opportunities, with yes always leading to something good, and this fresh example of him helping out a homeless person leading to meeting Allison backing up that claim. We now see him reading over the seminar's teachings and putting them into practice, answering an unknown call, whereas old Carl would have avoided it. It's his boss asking him to come in on a Saturday. We now see Carl in work replying yes to all the ads he previously turned down and giving his first post-seminar loan application approval. While talking to his boss, he's told that since he's being much more proactive than normal, he's up for another shot of the promotion, giving more fuel to the evidence that saying yes leads to good things. Next we see Carl taking this mentality and applying it to friendships in his life, trying to mend fences and having what looks like a fun drunken night out with his friends. The next morning he experiences more evidence of how being open to new experiences and helping others can bring about unexpectedly pleasant if gummy experiences with his elderly neighbour Tilly. After experiencing his first example of something turning bad instantly after saying no, his belief in the covenant is reinforced. Taking this to the next level, going to a pinup board and trying dozens of new experiences, learning Korean, taking guitar lessons, and receiving his pilot's license. Helping the homeless by volunteering in a soup kitchen, and more examples of him approving loan applications at work. Finally, accepting the invitation to a music night in a bar attended by 6 people, where he once again meets Alison while singing with her band. They talk for a while, discussing her jogging and photography class, which she invites him to. Later on, she describes him as mysterious and unpredictable, unable to figure out how people can live on the same daily routine. An unknowing shot at how he used to live before the Yes seminar. At lunch, his friend describes Alison as spontaneous, ballsy, and carefree, the complete opposite of himself. Peter, now playing off Carl's covenant, suggests he throw Lucy, his fiancée, a bridal shower. On the way back, we see Carl's first experience of riding Alison's scooter, which comes into play later. The next morning, we see the results of Carl's many approvals in the effect of a long line of applicants where he works, meeting Lee for the second time after saying yes to a night of raving, approving the application for a motorbike. Later that day at work, his approval numbers are looked over and are seen as being surprisingly lucrative, even in the small numbers. Once the people are so happy to have gotten a loan in the first place, he is offered a big promotion, all the yeses in work seemingly having a hugely positive effect. At the bridal shower with Lucy, they meet with a rather grouchy attendant, Soo-mi. Here we see him interact with the woman, speaking to her in Korean and asking what's wrong. She then becomes much more friendly after being empathized with, explaining how she is lonely and jealous of seeing other people plan their engagements. It's fun to watch one of the seemingly minor plot points brought up earlier to actually affect the story overall, even if it's only in a small way. He learns and is able to speak Korean, so he's able to console her and more effectively plan the bridal shower. Another example of one of these experiences of being used later on comes in the form of a man on the ledge about to jump and commit suicide by jumping off a very high building. Carl, now being a man of action, not falling prey to the bystander effect, runs up to the man, taking the nearby guitar, using his newly acquired skill of being able to play it, convinces the man not to jump. It's compelling seeing his actions and what he's learned earlier on in the film having a direct impact on the story, making it feel like there was a point to those scenes, using what he has learned and not just learning them for the sake of trying them out. His next meeting with his much pined after ex-wife Stephanie goes about as well as you could imagine. She meets new Carl, happier, more adventurous in a new relationship, and having seen him on the news rescuing that person from the ledge, she for the first time is shown to be pining after him. After this chance meeting, we now see Carl and Alison decide to take a trip to Nebraska. Other than the general bonding through shared experiences, not much happens until they start discussing future plans. His covenant starts to interfere, conflict with how he truly feels. A series of misunderstandings and his somewhat unpredictable behaviour, wide range of activities, and he's believed to be a terrorist. During being detained, this is where he comes clean about his covenant in front of Alison, and she is very hurt by this, unable to know whether he actually wanted to do anything with her or did it out of obligation. We then see Carl and Peter discussing the flaws of the program and how people usually decide to do things instead of just blindly saying yes to everything. After the rough times with Alison, we see Carl return to some of his old ways, watching films, pining, being down at work, not enjoying anything he's doing. Next we see Carl's delivering bad news to Norm. After forgetting to prepare the bridal shower, Carl calls in on all the people he's previously helped out with their loan applications to fill the bar with people. In a nice scene at the party, Carl introduces the two lonely hearts of the film, Norm and Soo-mi, another example of something that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't have changed his behaviour in the first place. The party also puts him in Lucy's good books. Stephanie, whose earlier pining is shown to be exacerbated by a fight with her partner, calls Carl. When she comes on to him, he gives the second no of his covenant. this time marking a change from mindlessly saying yes to everything. However, he's now paranoid after breaking the covenant again, expecting bad things to happen to him. He seeks out Terrence from the beginning of the film, the creator of the program. Later, in hospital, he pleads with him and reveals that there is indeed no covenant. You've just been difficult at the start. This ends up with him telling Carl how he should be using it instead of mindlessly saying yes to everything when his belief is shaken. The point of saying yes to everything is to get you started with things, and when you find out you want to do more things, pick out what you like and go from there. Now we see a more enlightened Carl. No longer the downer of Act 1 or the mindless yes man of Act 2, but someone naturally more confident and self-assured, now with more free will. One of the previous applications comes back to help him. Lee, the motorcycle applicant, allows him to borrow it so he can go to Allison's early morning jog. The film ends with them reunited, having openly discussed their relationship properly, and a funny little scene at the very end which I won't spoil, with a lot of people who were willing to give. The film left me with a motivation to do more things and engage with life, seeking happiness in experiences and interactions with others and finding out the endless possibilities of what can happen when a person says yes. And that is it. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing here and would like to see more, feel free to like and sub. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.